The deceptive calm. The night sky over Earth erupted in a dazzling, terrifying spectacle. What began as a few anomalous lights quickly escalated into a cosmic light show that outshone the stars themselves. Streaks of otherworldly energy crisscrossed the atmosphere, forming intricate patterns that defied human understanding. In major cities across the globe, people poured out of their homes and offices, necks craned skyward, a collective gasp rising from the throngs of onlookers. Dr. Elena Rodriguez, lead astronomer at the Arecibo Observatory in Puerto Rico, frantically calibrated her instruments, her hands shaking with a mixture of fear and excitement. "This can't be happening," she muttered, eyes darting between her computer screens and the chaos unfolding in the sky above. Her team huddled around her, faces pale in the glow of the monitors. Suddenly, every screen in the observatory flickered and went dark. Elena's heart skipped a beat. Then, as one, they blazed back to life, displaying an image that would be seared into the memory of every human who saw it. A face, if one could call it that, filled the screens. Multiple eyes blinked in unsettling asynchronicity, arranged around a central orifice, lined with what appeared to be tentacles. The skin, if it was skin, shimmered with an iridescent quality that seemed to shift and flow like liquid metal. When it spoke, the sound emanated not just from the speakers, but seemed to reverberate from every surface, as if the very air was being used as a conductor. "People of Earth," the alien voice boomed, a cacophony of tones that grated against human eardrums. "I am Supreme Commander Zixthor of the Galactic Hegemony. Your planet has been scheduled for immediate integration into our empire. Resistance is not only futile but will result in the complete annihilation of your species. You have one Earth rotation to surrender unconditionally. Choose wisely." The transmission cut off abruptly, leaving a deafening silence in its wake. For a moment, the world stood still. Then, chaos erupted. In Washington, D.C., the Pentagon burst into frenzied activity. General Marcus Blackwood, chairman of the Joint Chiefs of Staff, barked orders as he strode purposefully down corridors lined with frantic personnel. "I want every satellite we have pointed at those bastards," he shouted, "and get me the president on the line 5 minutes ago." Similar scenes played out in military installations and government offices worldwide. The UN Security Council convened an emergency session, while world leaders engaged in a flurry of encrypted communications. As the initial shock wore off, humanity's response began to take shape. Military forces across the globe were mobilized, nuclear arsenals were primed, and civilian defense protocols were initiated. But as the first grainy images of the alien fleet came in, a grim reality set in. The alien armada was vast beyond comprehension. Capital ships the size of small moons hung in low Earth orbit, their sleek, biomechanical designs unlike anything humanity had ever conceived. Swarms of smaller craft darted between the behemoths, their movements defying known laws of physics. In orbit, the International Space Station found itself with an unprecedented view of humanity's visitors. Commander Yuki Tanaka, her face a mask of calm belying her inner turmoil, made what could be humanity's last transmission from space. "Houston, the scale of this, it's beyond anything we could have imagined. God help us all." Back on the ground, as governments scrambled to formulate a response, an unlikely hero was about to emerge. In a nondescript office building in Denver, Colorado, sat an underground facility that didn't officially exist. Deep beneath the mundane exterior, Technician First Class Samantha Sam Harper was pulling a graveyard shift in a room filled with some of the most advanced monitoring equipment on the planet. As alerts blared and screens filled with data about the alien incursion, Sam's eyes were drawn to a particular readout. Her breath caught in her throat. "No way," she whispered, fingers flying over her keyboard. "No fucking way." She triple-checked the data, her heart pounding. Then, with trembling hands, she reached for a red phone that had never been used before. "This is Technician Harper. Authorization code Tango Echo 97 Zulu." She spoke rapidly into the receiver. "Initiating Omega Protocol. I repeat, Omega Protocol is in effect. Across the globe, in the few places where Omega Protocol wasn't just a strange phrase, all hell broke loose. In the Oval Office, President Evelyn Crawford was in the middle of a tense briefing when her chief of staff burst in, face ashen. "Madam President," he said, his voice barely above a whisper, "Omega Protocol has been initiated." The president's eyes widened. "Are you certain?" He nodded gravely. President Crawford took a deep breath, squaring her shoulders. "Then God help us all. Initiate the response." As governments worldwide grappled with the alien ultimatum, Supreme Commander Zix Thor observed the planet's pitiful attempts at defense with growing amusement. His many eyes focused on a particular region of the North American continent, where a small cluster of oddly shaped vehicles had been detected. "Magnify that sector," he commanded, his tentacles writhing with anticipation. The view zoomed in, revealing a handful of what appeared to be primitive mechanized units gathered near a mountain range. Zix Thor's body rippled with what passed for laughter in his species. "Is this truly the best defense this world can muster?" he mocked, addressing his bridge crew. "These primitive constructs are barely worth the energy it would take to destroy them." His second in command, a being of swirling energy contained within a crystalline structure, pulsed with agreement. "Perhaps we should demonstrate our power by obliterating these toys, Supreme Commander." Zix Thor considered for a moment, his metallic skin shimmering as he processed the suggestion. "No," he decided, a cruel glint in his multiple eyes. "Let them stand as a symbol of this world's futility. When we crush their pathetic resistance, these machines will serve as a monument to their failure." Little did Zix Thor know that his dismissal of Earth's small army would prove to be the greatest miscalculation in the history of the galactic hegemony. As the alien fleet loomed menacingly overhead, humanity teetered on the brink of panic. News channels broadcast non-stop coverage, social media exploded with a mix of terror and defiance, and religious leaders of all faiths called for unity and prayer. In this atmosphere of impending doom, a select few individuals around the world received coded messages that would set in motion humanity's last desperate gambit. Deep beneath the Rocky Mountains, in a facility that didn't exist on any map, 50 of the world's most elite pilots were roused from their bunks. They had trained for years for a day they hoped would never come, honing their skills in simulators and prototype machines that pushed the boundaries of human engineering. As they suited up in state-of-the-art neural interface gear, their commander, Sarah Chen, a decorated veteran with eyes that blazed with determination, addressed her team. "Men and women of the Titan Initiative," she began, her voice steady and resolute. "The day we've prepared for is here. An alien force threatens not just our nation, not just our planet, but the very existence of humanity. They think us weak, primitive, easy prey." She paused, a fierce grin spreading across her face. "They're in for one hell of a surprise." Titan's Awakening. The Cheyenne Mountain Complex, long known to the public as a Cold War relic, hummed with an energy that belied its supposed obsolescence. Deep beneath layers of solid granite, in chambers unknown even to most high-ranking military officials, humanity's last hope stirred to life. Commander Sarah Chen strode through the cavernous hangar, her footsteps echoing off walls of gleaming metal and advanced composites. Around her, a flurry of activity intensified as engineers and technicians performed last-minute checks on the behemoths that loomed in the shadows. "Status report," Chen barked into her comms unit. "All systems green, Commander," came the reply from Chief Engineer Dr. Yuki Tanaka. "The Titans are ready for deployment." Chen allowed herself a grim smile. About damn time. The Titans, 50 of the most advanced mechs ever conceived by human minds, stood in perfect formation. Each one stretched nearly 20 stories high, their sleek forms a testament to the pinnacle of human engineering and the indomitable spirit of their creators. As Chen approached her own Titan, designation Alpha 1, she felt a familiar surge of adrenaline. The mech's dark alloy skin seemed to absorb the light around it, its humanoid form bristling with weapons both conventional and experimental. At its core pulsed a miniaturized fusion reactor, a marvel of science that had been deemed theoretically impossible just a decade ago. "Beautiful, isn't she?" a voice said from behind her. Chen turned to see Dr. Elena Rodriguez, the astrophysicist whose groundbreaking work on dark matter propulsion had made the Titans possible. "She'll be a lot more beautiful when she's knee-deep in alien wreckage," Chen replied with a smirk. Rodriguez nodded solemnly. "Just remember, Sarah, these machines may be powerful, but it's the human spirit inside them that truly makes them formidable." As if on cue, the hangar's massive doors began to slide open, revealing the other 49 pilots approaching in perfect synchronization. Chen felt a swell of pride as she regarded her team, each one a specialist in their field, from veteran fighter pilots to Olympic athletes, united in their determination to defend Earth. "All right, listen up." Chen's voice boomed through the hangar. "I know you've all heard the transmission. I know you've seen the images of their fleet. They think they've got us outgunned, outmanned, and outclassed." She paused, her eyes sweeping over her team. "But what they don't know is that humanity doesn't roll over and die. We fight, we adapt, we overcome, and today we're going to show these alien bastards exactly what we're made of." A chorus of cheers erupted from the assembled pilots, their faces set with grim determination. "To your Titans," Chen commanded. "This is what we've trained for. This is humanity's finest hour." As one, the pilots moved to their respective mechs. The process of interfacing with a Titan was unlike anything else in human experience. Each pilot climbed into a specially designed cockpit nestled in the Titan's chest cavity. As the neural link activated, human and machine became one. Chen felt the familiar rush as her consciousness expanded, her senses extending to encompass the entirety of Alpha One. She flexed the Titan's massive fingers, feeling the power thrumming through its frame as if it were her own body. Neural handshake complete, Dr. Tanaka's voice came through the comm. All Titans showing green across the board. "Excellent," Chen replied, her voice now carrying the metallic undertone of the Titan's external speakers. "Prepare for launch sequence." High above, the mountain itself began to transform. Massive sections of rock slid apart, revealing the true nature of Cheyenne Mountain. What had once been a Cold War bunker had been converted into the world's most advanced launch facility. In mission control, banks of monitors displayed a dizzying array of data as technicians coordinated the most audacious military operation in human history. T-minus 60 seconds to launch, a voice announced over the facility-wide comm. In her Titan, Chen took a deep breath, centering herself. "Remember your training," she addressed her team. "We hit hard, we hit fast, and we don't let up. The element of surprise is our greatest weapon." T-minus 30 seconds. Around the world, military forces braced for what they believed would be a futile last stand against an overwhelmingly superior foe. Little did they know that humanity's true defenders were about to enter the fray. T-minus 10 seconds. Chen's hands tightened on the controls. "For Earth," she whispered. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Launch. With a roar that shook the very foundations of the mountain, the Titans burst forth from their hidden bunker. 50 colossal figures erupted into the night sky, their dark matter propulsion systems leaving trails of ethereal light in their wake. In orbit, aboard his flagship, Supreme Commander Zix Thor was jolted from his smug complacency by a cascade of alarms. "What is the meaning of this?" he demanded, his tentacles writhing in agitation. His second-in-command, Vexera, rushed to the central holographic display. "Supreme Commander, we're detecting multiple large objects launching from the planet's surface." Zix Thor's multiple eyes widened in disbelief as the feed from their orbital sensors resolved to show 50 enormous humanoid figures rising rapidly through Earth's atmosphere. "Impossible," he breathed. "These primitives couldn't possibly have." His words were cut short as the first of the Titans breached the lower bounds of space. Alpha One, with Commander Chen at the helm, led the charge, its massive frame silhouetted against the blue marble of Earth below. For a moment, there was an eerie silence as the two forces faced each other in the void of space. Then, with a battle cry that resonated through every comm channel, human and alien alike, Chen gave the order. Titans, engage. What followed was a battle unlike any the cosmos had ever witnessed. The Titans moved with a speed and agility that defied their massive size, their weapons unleashing destructive power that rivaled that of their alien adversaries. Chen's Alpha One spearheaded the assault, its particle cannon tearing through the hull of an alien destroyer as if it were tissue paper. Around her, her teammates unleashed their own devastating attacks. Bravo 3, piloted by former MMA champion Miguel Santana, grappled with an alien cruiser, using its momentum to fling the massive ship into one of its allies. The alien fleet, caught completely off guard by this unexpected resistance, struggled to mount an effective defense. Their energy weapons, designed to target capital ships, proved less effective against the agile Titans. Zixthor watched in mounting horror as his supposedly invincible armada was thrown into disarray. "This is impossible," he raged. "How can these primitives possess such technology?" As if in answer to his question, Chen's voice boomed across all frequencies. "You came to our world thinking us weak, thinking us easy prey, but you forgot one crucial fact. Humanity doesn't bow. We stand, we fight, and we will never, ever surrender." Her words seemed to energize the Titan force. They pressed their advantage, their coordinated attacks systematically dismantling the alien fleet's formations. In mission control, Dr. Rodriguez watched the battle unfold with a mixture of awe and trepidation. The Titans were performing beyond even her most optimistic projections, but the alien force was vast, and this was only the beginning. "Come on, Sarah," she whispered, her eyes fixed on the blip that represented Alpha One. "Show them what humanity is made of." As the battle raged in orbit, the people of Earth looked to the skies with a newfound hope. News of the Titans' existence spread like wildfire, and cheers erupted in cities across the globe as humanity realized they were not as defenseless as they had feared. But the war was far from over. As the initial shock wore off, the alien fleet began to regroup, bringing more of its vast resources to bear. The true test of humanity's resolve and the Titans' capabilities was yet to come. In the cockpit of Alpha One, Commander Sarah Chen allowed herself a moment of grim satisfaction. They had bloodied the nose of the invaders, shattered their illusion of invincibility. Now came the hard part, winning the war. "All Titans," she commanded, her voice steady and resolute. "Form up on me. This is just the beginning." As the Titans regrouped, their massive forms silhouetted against the star-studded backdrop of space, one thing became clear. The battle for Earth had only just begun, and its outcome would determine the fate of not just one world, but the entire galaxy. David strikes. The vastness of space, once serene, now churned with the chaos of battle. Humanity's Titans, mere specks against the backdrop of Earth, darted between the colossal alien ships with a grace that belied their size. Commander Sarah Chen, her consciousness melded with Alpha One, led the charge against a foe that outnumbered them 100-1. "Charlie Team, flank right." Chen's orders crackled through the comm. "Delta, provide covering fire. We're punching through their line." The Titans moved with perfect synchronization, their movements a deadly dance choreographed by years of training and the neural link that bound pilot to machine. Charlie Team, led by Lieutenant Raj Patel in his Titan dubbed Thunderbolt, swooped around the starboard side of a massive alien dreadnought. Delta Team unleashed a barrage of experimental weaponry, their energy beams cutting through the void to splash against the dreadnought's shields. Inside his flagship, Supreme Commander Zixthor seethed with a mixture of rage and disbelief. "How?" he demanded, his tentacles lashing out to crush a nearby console. "How are these primitives matching our technology?" His second-in-command, Vexera, flinched away from the debris. Supreme Commander, our long-range scans indicate that these Titans are powered by some form of fusion technology we've never encountered before. Their weapon systems I don't want excuses, Zix Thor roared. I want results. Bring our full might to bear. Crush these insects. As if in response to his command, a new wave of alien fighters poured forth from the larger ships, swarming towards the Titans like angry hornets defending their nest. Chen saw the incoming threat and made a split-second decision. All units, scatter and regroup at coordinates Alpha 7 Delta. Use evasive pattern Omega. The Titans broke formation, each one becoming a target for dozens of alien fighters. But this was what they had trained for. Each pilot's mind, enhanced by their neural link, processed information at superhuman speeds. Major Yuki Tanaka, piloting the Titan Sakura, spun her mech in a dizzying corkscrew, alien energy blasts sizzling past her. With practiced precision, she extended her Titan's arm, a built-in grappling system shooting out to latch onto a passing piece of debris, the remnants of an alien ship destroyed earlier in the battle. Batter up. Yuki's voice rang out as she swung the massive chunk of alien technology like a baseball bat, sending it hurtling through space to smash into an oncoming squadron of fighters. The resulting explosion lit up the battlefield, a brief sun blooming in the darkness of space. Nearby, Lieutenant Miguel Santana in El Toro grappled directly with an alien cruiser. His Titan's hands, designed to manipulate objects at a subatomic level, tore into the ship's hull as if it were tissue paper. With a grunt of effort, Miguel ripped out what appeared to be a power conduit, causing cascading failures throughout the alien vessel. Chen, Miguel called out. I think I found their weak spot. A power distribution node's His transmission was cut short as a massive energy beam lanced out from Zix Thor's flagship, narrowly missing El Toro, but vaporizing the disabled cruiser. All units, be advised. Chen's voice was tense but controlled. The enemy flagship is equipped with a primary cannon capable of destroying Titans in a single hit. Maintain evasive maneuvers and watch your six. As the battle raged on, Earth's conventional forces weren't idle. Inspired by the Titan's success, military commanders worldwide launched everything they had. Missiles streaked into orbit, fighters scrambled to provide what support they could, and ground-based energy weapons, hastily retrofitted with technology reverse-engineered from previous alien encounters, fired ceaselessly into the sky. Most of these attacks were little more than pinpricks against the vast alien armada, but they served a crucial purpose: distraction. Every alien ship that turned its attention planetward was one less ship focusing on the Titans. Back in Cheyenne Mountain, Dr. Elena Rodriguez watched the battle unfold with a mixture of awe and terror. The Titans were performing beyond her wildest expectations, but the alien fleet seemed endless. For every ship they destroyed, two more seemed to take its place. We need a game changer, she muttered, her eyes scanning the readouts from the Titans. Suddenly, an idea struck her. That's it. She grabbed her comm unit. Commander Chen, do you read me? Little busy right now, Doc. Chen's voice came back, strained with effort. Listen, the moon. Use the moon. For a moment, there was silence on the comm. Then, care to elaborate, Doc? Rodriguez's words tumbled out in a rush. Your dark matter drives. They don't just propel you. They can manipulate gravity itself. If you can get enough Titans working in tandem, you might be able to use the moon's gravity as a slingshot. The velocity boost would be enormous. Chen's mind raced, calculating trajectories and force vectors. It was insane, audacious, and it just might work. All units, form up on me, she commanded. We're taking a little lunar detour. As one, the Titans disengaged from their individual skirmishes and formed a tight formation behind Alpha 1. Chen plotted a course that would take them around the far side of the moon, out of sight of the alien fleet. Zixthor watched in confusion as the Titans retreated. "Have we won?" he asked, uncertain. Vexera shook her crystalline form in a gesture of negation. "No, Supreme Commander, they appear to be regrouping behind the planet's satellite." Zixthor's eyes narrowed. "A tactical retreat. No matter. Prepare the fleet tow." His words were cut short as alarms blared throughout the flagship. On the main view screen, a sight unfolded that would be seared into the memories of every alien who witnessed it. The Titans emerged from behind the moon, but not as they had entered. Now they moved as one, a single massive projectile comprised of 50 of the most advanced machines humanity had ever created. The moon's gravity, amplified and manipulated by the combined power of 50 dark matter drives, had catapulted them to a velocity that defied comprehension. "Oh my God," Dr. Rodriguez breathed, watching from mission control. "They've gone translunar." The Titans streaked across space, a man-made comet aimed straight at the heart of the alien fleet. Zixthor had only moments to comprehend the situation before issuing a panicked command. "Evasive maneuvers. All ships, evasi." But it was too late. The Titans slammed into the alien flagship with a force that rivaled the impact that had wiped out the dinosaurs. The massive ship crumpled, its supposedly impenetrable hull splitting like an overripe fruit. The resulting explosion was visible from Earth, a new star briefly blossoming in the daylight sky. As debris from the flagship rained down on the rest of the alien fleet, sowing chaos and destruction, the Titans disengaged from their formation. They were battered, their systems strained to the breaking point, but they were far from finished. Commander Sarah Chen's voice, tinged with static but burning with determination, rang out across all frequencies. "This is humanity's message to any who would threaten our world. We will not go quietly. We will not surrender. We are humanity, and we're just getting started." As cheers erupted in mission control and in cities across the globe, the Titans turned to face what remained of the alien armada. The tide had turned, David had struck Goliath, and the battle for Earth entered its final decisive phase. Goliath stumbles. The destruction of Zixthor's flagship sent shockwaves through the alien armada, both literal and figurative. Debris from the massive vessel peppered the surrounding ships, causing cascading damage throughout the fleet. But more devastating than the physical destruction was the psychological impact. For the first time in their long history of conquest, the galactic hegemony faced an enemy that could not only resist them but strike back with devastating effectiveness. In the chaos following the flagship's destruction, the alien fleet's hive-mind communication network faltered. Ships broadcast conflicting orders, some calling for an all-out assault on Earth, others demanding an immediate retreat. Aboard her Titan, Alpha One, Commander Sarah Chen saw an opportunity. "All units, report status," she ordered, her voice hoarse from exertion. The responses came in quickly, a testament to the resilience of both the Titans and their pilots. While all had sustained damage from the audacious moon slingshot maneuver, none were out of the fight. "This is our chance," Chen declared. "While they're disorganized, we strike at their command structure, designate targets, and engage at will. Let's finish this." The Titans fanned out, each selecting a high-value target among the alien fleet. Lieutenant Raj Patel, his Titan Thunderbolt, crackling with excess energy from the lunar flyby, zeroed in on a communications hub. "Time to cut off their coordination," Raj muttered. With a thought, he directed his Titan's arm towards the alien vessel. A bolt of lightning, born from the fusion of human ingenuity and cosmic power, lanced out. It struck the comm hub, overloading its systems in a spectacular display of electrical fury. Across the battlefield, similar scenes played out. Major Yuki Tanaka's Sakura unleashed a barrage of kinetic projectiles, each one accelerated to near-relativistic speeds. They punched through alien hull plating like tissue paper, turning capital ships into Swiss cheese. But the aliens were far from defeated. As the initial shock wore off, their vast numerical superiority began to tell. For every ship the Titans destroyed, dozens more moved to fill the gap. In Cheyenne Mountain's mission control, Dr. Elena Rodriguez watched the battle unfold with growing concern. "They're adapting," she muttered, her eyes flicking between multiple displays. "Commander Chen," be advised, "the alien fleet is reconfiguring their shields. They're learning from each engagement." Chen's reply was terse. "Understood. Any suggestions, Doc?" Rodriguez's mind raced. "Their eye. It's predictive, always trying to anticipate your next move. But it's based on logic, on patterns. You need to be unpredictable." A savage grin spread across Chen's face inside her Titan. "Unpredictable, huh? I think we can manage that. All units, initiate protocol chaos theory." Across the battlefield, the Titans' movements suddenly shifted. Where before they had moved with military precision, now each one began to act seemingly at random. Major Miguel Santana's El Toro charged headlong at an alien dreadnought, only to veer off at the last second, using the larger ship's gravity to slingshot towards a cluster of fighters. Lieutenant Aisha Nada's in Jin blinked in and out of existence, her Titan's experimental phase shift drive, leaving afterimages that confused enemy targeting systems. The alien fleet's AI struggled to cope with the new paradigm. Its predictive algorithms, trained on countless battles against logical, pattern-following opponents, found themselves outmatched by the sheer creativity and unpredictability of the human mind. Vex Era, now the highest-ranking survivor of the hegemony fleet, watched in growing horror as her forces were slowly but surely picked apart. "This is impossible," she keened, her crystalline form vibrating with distress. "They're primitives. How are they defeating our superior technology?" One of her subordinates, a being of pure energy contained within an ornate mechanical shell, offered a tentative response. "Exalted One, our analysis suggests that the humans are not following any discernible battle doctrine. Each of their units appears to be acting independently, without central coordination." Vexera's form pulsed with anger. "Then coordinate our forces. Bring our superior numbers to bear." We can't, Exalted One," the subordinate replied, shrinking back. "Our fleet AI cannot predict their movements. It's causing cascading errors throughout." As if to punctuate this point, a massive explosion blossomed nearby. Chen's Alpha One had just taken out another command ship, further fragmenting the alien chain of command. Back on Earth, the planet's conventional military forces seized the opportunity presented by the aliens' disarray. Missiles streaked into orbit, finding targets among the now disorganized lower ranks of the invasion fleet. Fighters, hopelessly outclassed, but piloted by men and women willing to give their lives for their planet, engaged alien craft in swirling dogfights. In orbit, things were about to get even worse for the invaders. The International Space Station, previously thought destroyed in the initial assault, suddenly came to life. Its crew, led by the indomitable Commander Yuki Tanaka, no relation to the Titan pilot, had spent the battle's opening hours jury-rigging the station's systems. "This is ISS to all Earth forces," Tanaka's voice crackled over the comm. "We've rerouted power to the station's experimental magnetoplasma drive, commencing Operation Shooting Star." Now, with a burst of plasma, the entire space station began to move, accelerating far beyond its designed capabilities. It streaked across the battlefield like a comet, its hardened hull smashing through alien fighter screens and smaller capital ships. Chen watched the station's suicide run with a mixture of awe and sorrow. "Godspeed, Commander Tanaka," she whispered. The ISS's kamikaze attack was the final straw for the alien fleet. With their command structure in shambles, their AI confounded, and now faced with humans willing to turn even their non-military assets into weapons, panic began to spread through the hegemony forces. Vexera saw the writing on the wall. "All ships," she broadcast, her voice trembling, "initiate emergency temporal jump. Retreat to rally point Omega 9. Across the battlefield, the larger alien ships began to shimmer, distortions forming around them, as they prepared to flee. "Oh no you don't," Chen growled. "All Titans' priority targets are those big ships. Don't let them escape." The Titans redoubled their efforts, pouring everything they had into stopping the alien retreat. Chen's Alpha 1 grappled with a ship 3 times its size, the Titan's hands sinking into the alien hull as Chen triggered her dark matter drive at full power. Space itself seemed to warp around them as she dragged the massive ship out of its temporal jump trajectory. Similar scenes played out across the battlefield. Some aliens managed to escape, disappearing in flashes of exotic energy. But many more found their retreat cut short by the Titan's desperate final assault. As the last of the alien ships either fled or fell, an eerie quiet settled over near-Earth space. The Titans, battered and sparking but victorious, regrouped around Chen's Alpha 1. For a long moment, no one spoke. Then, Lieutenant Raj Patel's voice came over the comm. Did we just win?" Chen looked out at the debris-strewn orbit of humanity's homeworld, at the scorched and battered Titans floating around her, at the planet below where billions waited with bated breath. "Yeah," she said, a note of wonder in her voice. "Yeah, I think we did." As if a dam had burst, cheers erupted over the comm channel. In mission control, technicians and scientists embraced, tears streaming down their faces. Around the world, as news of the victory spread, people poured into the streets, celebrating humanity's deliverance. But Commander Sarah Chen's eyes remained fixed on the stars. They had won the battle, yes, but something told her that the war was just beginning. "All units," she said, cutting through the celebrations. "Form up. We're not done yet." As the Titans fell into formation, Chen couldn't help but smile. Humanity had been pushed to the brink, and in response, they had reached for the stars. Whatever came next, she knew one thing for certain. The galaxy would never be the same again. Humanity's finest hour. The aftermath of the battle hung in Earth's orbit like a twisted metal sculpture, a testament to the ferocity of the conflict that had just taken place. The Titans, battered but unbroken, maintained their vigilant formation as Commander Sarah Chen led them in a final sweep of the area. "Stay alert," Chen's voice crackled over the comm. "We may have won the battle, but we can't assume the war is over." As if in response to her caution, alarms suddenly blared across all Titan systems. A massive energy signature was building up at the edge of the solar system. "Command, are you seeing this?" Chen called down to mission control. Dr. Elena Rodriguez's voice came back, tense with worry. "Affirmative, Commander. We're detecting a quantum singularity forming. It's like nothing we've ever seen before." Before their eyes, space itself seemed to tear open. From the gaping maw of the singularity emerged a ship that dwarfed even Sixthor's destroyed flagship. Its surface rippled with otherworldly energies, and its very presence seemed to distort the fabric of reality around it. A transmission boomed across all frequencies, its force causing pain in human and alien minds alike. "Insignificant creatures, IAMXOR and ATA, Supreme OVER Lord of the Galactic Egemone, UAV destroy my vanguard. For this offense, your world shall be an NCD of Olo life." In Cheyenne Mountain, alarms blared as sensors went haywire. Dr. Rodriguez stared at her readings in horror. "This can't be right," she muttered. "The energy output from that ship, it's greater than our sun." Back in orbit, Chen gritted her teeth. "All units, battle formations. We've come too far to give up now." But as the Titans moved to engage, the true nature of the threat became apparent. Sornath's ship began to glow, building up energy for what was clearly a planet-killing weapon. "We can't stop that thing with firepower." Major Yuki Tanaka's voice came over the comm, uncharacteristically shaken. Chen's mind raced. They were out of options, out of time. Then, a crazy idea struck her. "Dr. Rodriguez," she called down to Earth, "the dark matter drives. You said they manipulate gravity, right? Yes, but could we use them to create a singularity of our own? Something to counter that weapon? There was a moment of stunned silence. Then Rodriguez's voice came back, excitement breaking through her fear. Theoretically, yes, but the energy required, it would burn out the drives completely. Maybe worse. Chen looked out at Earth, blue and beautiful against the backdrop of space. Her home. Humanity's home. We don't have a choice, she said softly. Then, louder. All Titans, form up on me. We're going to create a singularity. As the Titans moved into position, Chen opened a channel to Earth. Her voice, broadcast to every radio, TV, and communication device on the planet, was calm and resolute. People of Earth, you don't know me, but my name is Commander Sarah Chen. I and my fellow pilots have been fighting to defend our world. We've won battles that seemed impossible, but now we face our greatest challenge. What we're about to do, we may not survive it. But know this, whatever happens, Earth will endure. Humanity will endure. She paused, swallowing hard. To anyone listening, think, create, love, live. Show the universe what humanity truly is. It has been our honor to defend you. Goodbye. As Chen's words echoed across the globe, something extraordinary began to happen. Millions, then billions of human minds focused on a single purpose. Artists poured their souls into one final creation. Scientists contemplated the mysteries of the universe. Parents held their children close. Lovers shared one last kiss. And in orbit, 50 Titans began to glow with an energy born not just of technology, but of the indomitable human spirit. Now, Chen yelled. As one, the Titans activated their dark matter drives beyond all safe limits. Space twisted around them, reality itself straining under the pressure. A singularity began to form, small at first, then growing rapidly. Xornath's ship fired its planet-killer weapon, a beam of unimaginable energy lancing out towards Earth. But it met the Titan's newly formed singularity halfway. The resulting collision defied description. Energy and gravity warred on a scale beyond human comprehension. The Titans were caught in the maelstrom, their metal forms straining and twisting under forces that should have torn them apart instantly. But they held. Inside her cockpit, Chen felt as if her very atoms were being pulled apart. Through the pain, she forced out one last command. Push. Harder. The Titans responded, their pilots drawing on reserves of strength they never knew they had. The singularity grew, fed by their combined will, and the dark matter drives reality warping power. Xornath's weapon faltered, then failed. The alien overlord had only a moment to realize his defeat before his ship was drawn inexorably towards the growing black hole. Impossible, his final transmission boomed. You are in MOT hearing. U-A-R-E. His words cut off as the massive ship was drawn into the singularity. The Titans, their purpose fulfilled, began to fall towards the event horizon as well. Chen closed her eyes, a smile on her face. They had done it. Earth was safe. But then, something unexpected happened. As the Titans approached the point of no return, they began to glow with a light that had nothing to do with cosmic radiation or dark matter energy. In that moment, the collective consciousness of humanity, focused by the impending doom of their heroes, reached out across space and time. Billions of minds, united in hope and determination, became a force that rivaled the singularity itself. The laws of physics bent, then broke. The black hole collapsed in on itself, energy surging outward in a blast that lit up the solar system like a newborn sun. And in its wake, 50 Titans hung in space, scorched and battered, but somehow, impossibly, intact. For a long moment, there was silence. Then, Chen's disbelieving voice came over the comm. Command, we're alive. I don't know how, but we're alive. The cheers that erupted from mission control were echoed around the world. Humanity had faced its greatest threat, and emerged victorious, not just through technology or firepower, but through the strength of the human spirit itself. As the Titans limped back to Earth, they were greeted by a changed world. The threat of alien invasion had united humanity in a way nothing else could have. Age-old conflicts were set aside. Global cooperation became the norm rather than the exception. And as Earth took its first steps into a larger galaxy, it did so not with fear or aggression, but with the same spirit of creativity, determination, and unity that had saved it from destruction. Commander Sarah Chen, standing at a podium before the United Nations, summed it up best. We were tested, and we prevailed. Not because we were stronger or more advanced, but because we refused to give up. Because when faced with the impossible, we chose to rewrite the rules. This was humanity's finest hour, but it will not be our last. The stars await, and we will meet them not as conquerors, but as explorers, peacekeepers, and innovators. For we are humanity, and our potential is limitless. As her words were broadcast across the planet and into space, a new chapter in human history began. The galaxy would never be the same, and humanity was ready to take its place among the stars.